Welcome to Viva La Visionary, the podcast that celebrates the innovative ideas and mindsets of entrepreneurs and visionaries. Join your host, Coach Bob Schittefeld, as he dives into inspiring stories and practical insights from trailblazers who are changing the game. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned leader, this show is your source for motivation and creativity. Let's embark on this exciting journey together.
Hi there, Coach Bob, founder of the Visionary Forum and host of Viva La Visionary, our podcast to, from, for, and about visionaries. Excited to have David Meyer today. David, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks, Bob.
Awesome. Great to meet up. I like to start with a really simple softball question. So, David, why are you on this planet?
And
then we'll get tough.
I think it's to solve problems and help people.
Cool.
And doing that the way we do it now, I think helping businesses helps people. Like it helps them. Free enterprise is pretty cool.
Right.
And helps them provide for their families, for their employees' families, for the community. Just the ripple effect of something good happening in a business is pretty tremendous.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And I've realized that visionaries, not only do a lot of us help solve problems and we're good at it, but we help people understand what the problem even is or the opportunity. Right. Right. Any comments on that? Because I might have a problem, but I don't even know it, or I don't know how to communicate it. So
you can't smell your own breath.
Love it.
Sometimes it's an outside perspective,
right,
where people are so ingrained in it. And I think it's just approaching problems and opportunities with that beginner mind.
Right.
That just curiosity that helps. I think you can't be scared to ask stupid questions.
Right. So if you're not emotionally attached, I've had people say, well, I want someone from my industry to help us consult or coach. And obviously there's a time and a place for that, but I love it when I don't know what it is that they do and I don't know the jargon. I think that helps me to say, simplify it.
Right.
Because they don't even know. Right.
Yeah. Again, marketing agency, but sometimes we'll get people who want us to have had experience in their industry.
Right.
And why? You want to be different, right? Do you want us, you want someone to come in with an absolutely unique perspective,
right,
and be able to tell your story simply and compellingly.
Right.
One of the things we say, you haven't told your story until someone else can tell it.
Right.
So, being able to get the essence of what it is that you do and what makes you unique, moves you from just being a commodity.
Right.
And makes it so you're like the only reasonable choice for your ideal customer.
Right. No, I love that. And I love how, when I've coached people on EOS and after a year or two, they look at their VTO, which is basically their 2-page business plan, and someone who's been working there for 15 years, like, that's what we do. It's like, but if the employees don't know, how are the clients or prospects going to know?
And the employees care.
Sure.
And your clients care. And they care about your purpose. It's proven over and over again. There are statistics. It's not correlation, it's causation, that your consumers and your people care about the purpose why you're there.
What's the difference between correlation and...
Correlation is it just kind of goes along. Causation means this causes that.
Got it.
It's stronger.
Right.
It says do this. And you can see examples of purpose and core values playing out all the time. My favorite example is probably Chick-fil-A. There are people that love Chick-fil-A, and there are people that would never darken the doorstep of Chick-fil-A,
Right.
and they're okay with it, and that's fine. And it's just like people really do care about your purpose.
Right. And if I try to please everyone, I'm probably pleasing no one. Right.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. So I know you're in marketing, but I'm not going to do it justice. So what does your business do?
We work with a lot of companies that run on EOS, but a lot of companies that don't. We we're a brand first marketing agency. So not that creating a beautiful website with great user experience or finding who the target audience is and where they're going to be. Some of that stuff it's easy. It's like it's not hard to find an agency that can build a beautiful website with great user experience but telling your story and making it stand out and telling your why and helping helping you speak with empathy to the people you help, understanding their problems. And it's uh it's not another it's not how you want to sell, it's how they want to buy.
Nice.
So, and it's not what you want to say, it's what they want to hear.
Right.
So really tapping into that and creating that messaging and brand foundation is, but put that our skill on that up against anybody.
That's
We're
awesome.
Yeah,
So
go on.
you use a line that you've used a couple times, but something around bringing their VTO to life, or can you expand on that? Because that I
It's the VTO is great. And it's just so yeah, it's unleashing the power of their VTO or
right.
making, it's they get they work with we love working with EOS companies who have worked with an implementer because that means their VTO is probably pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, but they'll have this document and it'll have great stuff on it. And the the marketing section of the VTO is like this big.
Right.
It's like marketing strategy. And it's like, that's not marketing strategy. Like it's elements that can create it.
Right.
Um, and a good example is your three uniques. Like they're like, we this and we that and we the other. And I like to say you just weed all over yourself. Um, it's not about you. It's how do you turn those into brand benefits? How do you tell that story? They can have a wonderful VTO and they can't tell that story. Their employees can't tell their story. Their customers don't hear that story.
Right.
And it's just potential energy that's just sitting there rotting in a binder.
Right. And I can relate to that. With our three uniques at my first business, we got it from a survey where we sent it out to 20 of our 50 clients. So, what are the things that we do uniquely? And we got it back. And I'm like, those are boring. But it was true. Like one of them was we invoice on time and correctly. I'm like, so? But they're like, but your competition doesn't. And that we know where our mail is in your system. You're transparent. I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, other people don't tell us that. And then we're Canadian experts, which a lot of people said. But once we nailed that, and then when we would speak to prospects, they're just like, ooh, my client or my vendor doesn't do that. So it was the simplest thing. But
Right.
again, it's like we came up with all these fancy words. We were telling them as opposed to your point, it's what they were looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that you ask your customers. That's so often overlooked, and it's not that expensive
No.
to get some of that qualitative research that they're just gems in it. And the ROI on it is incredible. Like what you learn, even if you learn that you're saying the right stuff and it reaffirms that you're doing it well, that's fine. That
Right.
helps too. But I can't think of a time where we didn't learn something, where the client didn't learn something that made a big difference.
And it's usually simpler than I think. I'm like, well, no, I solved this huge problem. They're like, no, you invoiced the day we did it and we didn't change it. I'm like, that's
Right.
boring. They're like, yeah, but that's what we want.
Right. Right. Yeah.
What a concept. Cool. So, David, you are a visionary. I know that from experience with you, which I love. When did you first realize you were a visionary?
I probably when I stumbled onto EOS was the first time I heard the term.
Right,
I think that's just how you do things. You see a problem, well, let's do this. Let's start a business doing that. Like
right,
the but I don't love the term visionary. Like it sounds self-aggrandizing. It sounds like the visionary is more important than anyone else in the company. And
we are, aren't we?
no, I mean, I learned multiple times, and I still continue to learn it, that ideas are worthless and execution is priceless.
Right,
So having all these great ideas, like I failed on some great ideas just because of the execution. It's
right.
like, and it's like that's vitally important. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think early on, if looking back, I was always looking, why don't we do it this way? Or what about this? Or what about that?
Right. Well, I believe that, again, as far as importance, I report to the integrator. Integrator reports into, works for the leadership team. Leadership team works, so it's kind of an upside down hierarchy,
Right.
if you will. And I truly believe that because, again, I have an idea, I run it by people, and it's like, this doesn't make sense. Or can we do this next quarter? Or what about that? So, yeah, definitely to listen. But I do believe that as the visionary, too often we sell more than we can handle, and then it's like, okay, wait. Once we put in a business operating system, I got my head above water and I could breathe, and then I helped the rest of my team come up. Especially for a life balance and to have fun and do what we're great at and love. So that is where I'm definitely leading them, hopefully.
I think the Colby assessment was probably the first time
Hmm.
that I realized that was an eye opener for me. That might have been when I first realized, like, oh,
Interesting.
because it was like I can do follow through. I'm not good at it. I don't
Right.
enjoy it. And if I do it, it takes all of my energy. And shouldn't I spend my energy doing what I really like doing
Right.
and can
And
have a
great.
bigger impact that way?
Right.
Um, so yeah, that was my friend Dixie Gillespie in St. Louis. She's a Colby certified, and I don't remember how many years that was ago. That was before EOS, certainly. It
Right.
might have been in 2008 or nine. And it was just like, whoa.
Right. Yeah, I remember Kathy Colby on her cassette tape, and I'm dating myself, giving me my 20-minute version of "You are amazing," and I was like, "She knows who I am."
Right.
So, what's another word for visionary then? Any other? Because I've wrestled with that in speaking with Vern Harnish years ago, who was one of the original founders behind EO and has a business operating system. He does not like the term visionary. He thinks it's one of the things that we do. So I have been thinking, like, what's another name for that?
That's interesting. So yeah, I know he's involved in EO and I'm on a WhatsApp group with him. I might have to ask him that. And I love scaling up. Um, I don't know. I mean, because we're just idea guys
Right.
or gals. I mean, I, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that's a problem I haven't really thought about
You don't
solving.
have to take that one on, but what with my first client, I
There's,
used to go
there's some
see.
money in that one.
Right, I know. Well, let's talk about it for 2 days. I had my client, one of my clients was 25% of my business, and I would go see him every couple months, and he'd be like, "What's new?" And I would tell him what's going on in the industry, and then he would call me and say, "Okay, idea generator," and he would run an idea by me that I had no idea what he was talking about, but I would have some ideas. And when I went to him, because my industry was becoming a commodity, he's like, what's new? And I'm like, I got nothing. And I knew him very well. I'm like, it's time for me to get out, because if it's not in, because the innovation I wanted to do was going to cost tens of millions of dollars with automation. It's like, I don't care that much, but interesting. So I know the word founder has been put out there. I mean, there's so many different things, and I'm not going to rename it now, but anyway, it's interesting. So, what do you think? What are the roles of us visionaries? So, obviously, generating ideas. What are some other roles that we can be? We can optimize ourselves and our leadership.
And constantly asking why, and brainstorming and coming up with ideas, just seeing whether it's a friction point or an opportunity or a pain or something, and just looking at go why,
Hmm.
and just asking and asking, and just that for me anyway, it's just curiosity.
Right.
I love to learn about everything. I think one of the side benefits of being in my agency and having as much gray hair as I do is I've worked on a lot of cool different businesses. Like
Right.
I know a little bit about a lot of industries.
Right.
And it's all just fascinating. Like, wait, there's a company and that's what they do? It's
Right.
like, oh yeah, it's a big company.
Hmm.
Like, oh, like, oh, yeah, I guess someone has to do that.
Right.
Um,
So, idea generating, the why. Anything else that you would say, like on our accountability chart? What are a couple other bullet points, either for you or other visionaries? And there might not be others. That's fine.
I think the culture, I
Yeah.
think, um, protecting and setting the culture,
Right.
and I think having the energy and enthusiasm can be infectious and it's like you it's that leadership, um, that yeah, let's do this. We're rolling in the same direction. Let's go.
Right.
I don't think, and there's quiet leadership and the loud rah rah leadership, and both are okay.
I appreciate that. What's one lesson learned that you've learned in your role as a visionary, either personally or professionally, that you could share with the group to say, hey, once I shifted this or stopped that or started that? So, what's an experience share of I don't know if it's a visionary hack, but
I mean, delegation. I think
right,
when I realized that just because I hate doing it doesn't mean someone else does. I think there was
right,
sort of I felt kind of guilty
yep,
about, I, would you mind? And they're like, yeah. Like, wait,
right.
what?
You
Like,
like doing spreadsheets? Oh, have at it.
right. And it's just like there was just sort of, I think, don't ask someone to do something you wouldn't do yourself.
Right, right,
That's sort of like, oh, okay, well, I I don't want to ask someone to do something this because it's awful.
right,
Like, but finding out that, oh my, yeah, like it's they love it. And
right.
it's like, okay, well, you're broken inside, but here. I don't know who hurt you, but here,
Right. Yeah,
get
that's our next podcast we'll be doing. Healing myself. That's a different one.
it.
So, what's one opportunity you're working on now as a visionary? And again, it could be a business idea, it could be a people issue. And again, I call it opportunity. And again, that could be an issue or a whatever. So, what's one thing that's not keeping you up at night, but that you're pondering?
Hmm. Well, we rolled out a new core value today.
Ooh,
It's fresh off the presses, but I don't know that that's um, visionary stuff. The core value is own it,
right,
uh,
love it.
which we one of the things that makes us unique is we're a bunch of seasoned professionals. Everybody, and I won't say it because it's recorded, um, but everybody's had most of the people at our shop have been in the industry 30 plus years, and have been with the company over 10 years. And I think we have a really flat there's no hierarchy.
Right.
And it was just realizing that if if you see a problem, fix it. If you need something, ask for it. Go get it. It's just like we live it, but it's just like um it's I don't know, just codifying that like everybody's it's your job. Like if you see it, it's your job. Um
From what most people are used to.
yeah, like don't like well, we're we're like 10, 11 people. So it's like, don't let me be a bottleneck.
Right.
Like you're an expert at this. Make you don't need make the decision. And like if you make the wrong decision, you won't be the first.
Right.
You know? It's like okay, it's just, action's better than um waiting for the perfect decision.
Right.
It's so but the thing that we're working on, and I guess every marketing agency would say the same thing, is looking at AI
Right.
and how we can use it. And it's on one hand, I tell myself that so, so when I came into the business, we were doing camera ready art and paste ups and die lines and X-Acto knives and then like a minute later it was Macintosh and everyone's got desktop publishing and all that. And then you've got Photoshop and look, I remember I was working on a project for Kellogg's. This is in the 90s, and it was like Frosted Flakes. It was the Stanley Cup winner got, their picture was on
Right.
the Frosted Flakes. And the team would change. So they'd take a picture at the beginning of the season, and then at the end of the season, people would leave, someone would do,
Right.
and so the picture changed. And if you think you're going to get the New York Rangers at the time to pose for a picture of the team during playoffs, so they can be on the Frosted Flakes, you're kidding yourself.
Right.
Like these people are wearing the same socks for every game. They're not going to jinx themselves by taking a picture for the Stanley Cup.
Right.
And there was a woman. It was called Cytex, and there was this woman in Texas who could do photo retouching and put someone's head here or there,
Right.
and it was a big deal and it cost a ton. And then boom, you've got Photoshop, and anyone can do it. And agencies jumped on it and learned and used the tool, and we've been constantly using tools. I can't think of an industry that's changed more
Hmm.
in my career time than marketing. So it, it's learning the new tools, dealing with the technology, embracing it. If you don't embrace it, you're dead,
Right.
and learning how to use it best. So that's step one. But then step two, it's how do we, because it's getting better all the
Right.
time. Um, there's it's still not great. It still can't replace what we do, but it's getting pretty good. So it's figuring out how to incorporate it while still making us an invaluable part of the process.
Right.
So that's
Yeah, times are changing, that's for sure. And we visionaries are part of that change, obviously. And I think we can adapt more than most. So I think that is our opportunity is to maybe not stay ahead of the curve, but at least be on the track.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, AI, that's a whole nother thing. I'm finding because I'm not technologically inclined or it's anyways, but I've been realizing it's become a friend of mine because I have so many ideas in my head and I don't have to do all of them, but I'm finding if I can just say, hey, give me a two-page proposal or summarize this, it's like, okay, then I can decide what I'm going to do with it. But it's helping me get it out of my head. which has been
Right.
very, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh, this
absolutely.
is what I've been trying to say for 20 years. It's so it doesn't replace, but it's just takes me further along on the process of, does it make sense? Because again, I might have 20 ideas, and then I'll do AI summary for 10 of them, and I'm like, I think this one might make sense, and it helps to explain. Otherwise, I explain it differently each time, and
Well,
people don't remember it.
and using it as a thought partner
Yes, love
and
it.
having it challenge you and you challenging it. It's like having someone to bounce ideas off of all the time.
Right.
Um, I use it all the time.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
And so does our team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, I've got one more question before I ask it, though. Do you have any either questions for me or thoughts for visionaries or anything else you want to share?
No, I mean, I think what you've created with the Visionary Forum is fantastic. I think um, I describe EO member, I describe EO and Visionary Forum to a lesser degree as sort of like AA for business owners.
Right.
It's like it's
I,
like right. Yeah. And it's just like it's creating that safe space, creating I think everyone in the group has an abundance mindset
right.
and is eager to help. And it's I, it's like we're all in the same POW camp.
Right.
And it's like, wait, you want to borrow my shiv? Yeah, let me just sharpen it first.
Right.
It's like we're all trying to help each other. We all feel the pain and eager to help each other out however we can.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I created it because I wanted it. And I'm a huge fan of EO. And to me, it's an and.
Oh,
It's a little different, but it's a different group. And then there are summits where we get together in person and we're growing personally and professionally. And again, with being mirrors for each other and cheerleaders and a shoulder to cry on and someone to celebrate with, it's been an honor to be a part of it. I
well,
appreciate
thanks for
that.
doing it.
Well, thank you. And then my last question is, as you know, our rally cry is Viva La Visionary, and that's the name of the podcast. What does Viva La Visionary mean to you?
Hmm. I think it's progress. It's if it, it's not sitting with the status quo. It's continual improvement. It's foster the people who drive the change and wake up trying to make everything better all the time. And I think that's what it means to me. It's just supporting those folks.
Love it. And we are, as you're talking about AI and staying ahead of the curve and whatnot, we're going into, and again, the speed of things is going so fast, and a lot of us visionaries are almost too fast. But I think this is our time to be able to not only to step into our greatness as a visionary, but teach people what it's like to have vision. And again, I don't think we can make a visionary, but if we can say, and I've talked a lot about my son and whatnot, it's like, where do you see school taking you, or baseball, or whatever? And it's like, well, I don't know. All right, well, what would it be if you did know? And then just to get them to start thinking about it, and then we're going to fall down, or things are going to change. And so come up and then say, does that vision still make sense? So I just think this is the greatest time ever to be alive. Obviously, there's a lot going on, but for us visionaries, I think it's time for us to leave a mark on everyone we're around. But
The ability to do something quickly and either succeed quickly or fail quickly it's amazing.
right.
Yeah, you can get a lot done really fast.
Well, awesome. I appreciate your time and your wisdom, and more important, I appreciate your friendship. David, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Bob.
All
Thanks
right,
for having
see you soon. All right, bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Viva La Visionary. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found inspiration in our guest stories. If you loved what you heard, please subscribe, rate, and share the podcast with fellow dreamers and doers. Join us next time as we continue to explore the limitless possibilities of visionary thinking. Until then, keep dreaming big and taking action. Your vision matters.